Hello, everyone. Welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be discussing Argc and Argv. All right. But before we start, I would like us to take few seconds to click on the subscribe button and of course turn on your notifications so that you can get notified when new videos are being posted. Please do not forget to subscribe. That is the only way that you can encourage us to bring more of this to you. And of course, that's a way to support us also. All right, so I put up a few short notes to tell us what ArcV and ArcC means. It's just command line argument. Let me just come up with that. It's a short note. ArcC, ArcV. All right, so basically, these are command line arguments that are used along with the main function. Ordinarily, when you have a main function, you have the int main and there is no argument with it. But when you want to utilize the full version of a main function, you might want to add arguments to it. And basically, the two arguments that are utilized are argc and argv. Okay, so like the name implies, argc is argument count. Like it take counts of the number of argument that a user inputs from the command line interface. Okay, it counts that number for you. And argv is the argument vector, which also can be the argument value. Is actually the value of the argument that a user inputs from on the command line interface. All right, so that's basically the difference. Argc, argv, argc counts the argument and argv holds the value of the argument. All right, so we have a simple in main program here, which takes in the argument C, which is an integer, and the argv, which holds string, of course, of the character type. So it holds string values. Okay. All right. So we're going to let me clear my screen, and then we do some little code example to demonstrate argc and argv so that you can actually see what they do. Okay, so let me clear my screen. Clear, all right. So let's write a simple code that shows the function of argument C or argc. RVI example. So afraid to show again. Will he make me weak? All right, example.c. So let's include the standard input output. Insert. I'll be there if you ask me to. So we're gonna include the standard input output dot h, and of course we're also going to be needing. Let me just include all the headers that we're going to be needing for our examples. We're going to be needing the standard input output header, and we're going to be needing the string header. Okay, so we're going to be needing the string header, which is string.h, And the last header that our program is going to be dependent on is the std because we're going to be doing some conversion from string to integer. So stdlib.h. All right, so these are the headers that we're going to be needing for our program. All right, so int main, int main, we're going to be having our argument arg, sorry, int argc in car double star arg v. All right, so I'm gonna do some printf. I'm gonna print. Let's print the value of argc to the screen, and argv, the first value of argv, which of course it's an array, and the first value is always the executable file. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. But let's print the value of argc first. Okay, so printf the value of argc. Of course, a placeholder %d new line argc, all right, argc. So we're going to close the program. So here we want to just print the value of argc. Okay, so let's compile the program. Compilation using command gcc output dash o, the name of our executable file. Let's call it out. Let's call it out. You can name it anything, whatever you're comfortable with. But let's just name it out here. Then the name of our code, our C file is example.c. Enter. So our C file has been compiled. So let's run our C file ./out. Of course, you can see the value of argc is 1. So it is counting this argument. We only imputed one argument onto our screen, which is ./out. That is one argument. Now let's increase the number of argument /out. Let's say um let's say out 1, out 2, out 3. All right, press enter. You can see the value of argc is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so it's counting the number of arguments that you impute, that a user input onto the screen. Okay, so this is basically its function. This is what it does. So whatever argument that is imputed onto the screen, argc is going to count it. And of course, we ask it to display, so it's going to display it for you. So it just counts it in the background. In C program language, it's very essential. In other languages, you might not want to take it serious, but then in C languages, it's um it's important, of course, when you need to count the number of arguments and all that. So we can increase it to, there's just one more example, like out, and we've said it that the first argument is always your executable file. So when we're going to show the function of argv, you're going to see that our first argument is always the executable file, and this is the executable file here. Having compiled your C file, you have your executable, which is always, as in nothing changes, that is always the first file that resides in Argv. Okay, so dot out is a 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's just keep on putting in all that. So press enter. You see that the value of argc is 10. All right, so let's move on. Let's go back to our let's go back and edit our code to include argv example.c. All right, so let's print the value of argv. Let's add more printf function to print the value of argv. Okay, so printf the value of um, argv percentile s, since it holds strings. So new line, right? So we're gonna close that, and we have argv. And don't forget that we said argv is an array, is a vector. So we're going to probably say, okay, let it show us the value of argv in the position 3. Okay, in the position 3. So we're going to close that, close our program. Okay, then we're going to recompile, which is gcc out. Okay, what I'm just doing now, I'm not writing them out again. I'm just using my up arrow, gcc/o out example.c. So we need to recompile the program because we have already made changes to it. So we recompile, that is it. And then we're going to run our program. So dot/out. All right. So the value of argc is 1. And the value of arc session manager, whatever, we didn't put more input. So let's put more input in /out. Okay, 3 4, and let's put like 5 arguments. Enter. So you can see the value of argc is 7 and the value of argv is 3. And we asked for the value in position 3, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. When it's an array, you start from 0, 0, the first one, which is always the executable file, 1, 2, 3. So let's change it again, dot out, because it's still going to tell us the argument in position 3. So let's do 10, 12, 34, 45, 67. Okay, so you can see the value of argc is 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the value of argv in position 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. okay, is 34. When it's a vector, you count from 0. But if it's normal number, just like Argc, it takes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But since it's a vector, it has to start from 0, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. So the one at position 3 is 34. Okay, so let's demonstrate Argc and Argv further with more example. We're going to delete this. Let's delete this example, which is rm example dot c, and also let's delete the executable file. All right, so that's been deleted. So let's write a simple program this time around via example.c. We're going to write a simple sum program that's going to sum our inputs for us and display the result using argc and argv. All right, so via example.c, enter, insert. So let's look at all our header files, which is include stdlib, stdio.h, and include string.h, and also include stdlib.h, right? So int argc and cart, okay, argv, and open our program. All right, so let's display all the values of argv. Let's display them. But before we can do that, we need to make use of the for statement. All right, we need to make use of the for statement before we can display that. First of all, let's declare a variable I, int I, then our for statement for I equals equals 0. Okay, I less than argc, right? So the number of argument that the user is going to input, then I plus plus. All right, so we're gonna open again. We're gonna open our curly braces, and we're gonna print the value, all the values that argv holds. So we're gonna printf the content of argv. All right, the content of argv for a certain position. Okay, and of course we need a placeholder to hold that certain position. Um for a certain position is the placeholder, which is a string value. So percentile s, right? Um, a new line and close quotation, and of course the value I and argv I. Alright, so it's going to pick um based on this value I, it's going to pick the content of argv for that value I and display the content onto the screen. All right, so we're going to close the for, terminate, close the for, and of course return 0 and close the program. So let me have a double line here so that I can, let me have a double line here so that I can have it displayed very well. All right, another new line. Okay, so let's terminate and let's compile our program. So compile gcc dash o out example.c. So it's been compiled. So let's look at what we have. Let's run our code dot out. You see, the content of argv in position 0 is out. Okay, that's the first one. So let's put more argument dot out. Let's include more argument dot out 45, 56, 3, 4, 7, 9, 0. So you can see the content of argv 0 is out. For position 1 is 45, 2 is 56, 3 is 3, 4 is 4, 5 is 7, 6 is 9, and all that. So it's able to pick the content for each location in the array vector. All right, so let's add more code. Let's do the sum program. Let's try to, let me clear my screen so I won't have so much on the screen. So let's edit the program bi example dot c. All right, so let's edit to have a simple sum program that sums all the input that a user um gives to the command line interface. That's all the argument that a user gives. Let's write a program that sums it up. So we're just going to add that to this program. So we're going to add more, like one more for loop to take care of that. So we're going to declare another variable in sum. In sum, this will hold the sum. So let's declare another variable in sum. And of course, we have for another for loop to handle the program. But before then, okay, let's have our for loop first. For I, let me initialize this to 0. In sum, equals 0. Okay. For I equals 0, right? I less than argc I plus plus. All right. So let's open with curly braces. And you know that the content of argv is a string. So we need to convert it into integer. And to do that, we're going to be making use of the function st string to l. Okay, so we're going to declare another variable int y to be equal to string to L. And this string to L converts strings to integer, and it is found in this external files, the stdlib.h header. So we're gonna have the string to L, and it's gonna take in three arguments. Okay, it's gonna take in three arguments, which is which is first of all, the content of Argv. So we have Argv I, right? And since it's just handling just single argument, that's the I, so we're going to initialize the pointer to null, right? So the third argument is the base, which is base 10, and we're gonna close that and terminate. All right, so our sum is going to be equal to sum plus y. Okay, so it's going to take terminate. It's going to take the content of argv, and it's going to convert it into int y. Okay, and it's going to store the value in y. So the integer value is what we're going to use to add to our sum. All right, so I'm going to close the for. Let's print the content of sum. Print f. Okay, so I need to come out of the loop before I print. So let's come out of the loop before printing. All right. So we're going to terminate our for loop. We're going to terminate our for loop, then print the content of sum. Print sum. That is the sum of all use of, pardon me please, I don't know why I keep having this. Okay, so the sum of all the inputs is percentile d. Okay, it's percentile d, and new line close comma sum. All right, you can close the program, return 0. So this is it. Let's compile our program. GCC -o out example C. Okay, so let's run our program given it arguments. All right, so dot out 10, 50, 60, 70. All right, so let's enter. So as you can see, the content of argv0 is dot out. Of course, we said that countless times. The first content is the executable file. So the content of argv1 is 10 and up to 4, which is 70. And the sum of all the input is 190. So you can put as many as you want. We can do dot out. We can add more arguments, 7, 40, 60, 100, 200, 2000, whatever. Press enter and you can see these are all the content of Argv, and the sum of all the input is 2297. All right, so that is that for Argv and Argc. Do not forget to give us a thumbs up and drop a comment below if there is anywhere you're having a confusion. You can drop it in the comment box and we're going to attend to it. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Please, that is the only encouragement that we can get. All right. So just before you could just click on the subscribe button. It will do you no harm, I promise. All right. Thank you for watching. See you another time. All right.